Collective FYI meeting for 2026. So this is just to go over some info that you should have about Empire Fire Collective. And has everybody here been to Burning Man? Has anybody here not been? Okay, some newbies. All right, so we're gonna go over a little bit of info about Burning Man as well.
What's a shin?
What is a shin? Not everybody knows what a shin is. So some people say that shin means mother fire. I've looked it up and hi, welcome. The only thing I can find for what a shin is that it's the lower part of your leg. So it's kind of a made-up word that the burner community used just to recognize somebody who is in charge of a fire group. So I am responsible for all of you and for the entire group. I am the communication between you guys and the fire council. The fire council at Burning Man is made up of 5 people. So I communicate with them and I communicate with you and we do the thing. I'm gonna start with who EFC is, Empire Fire Collective. We are a group of fire spinners who get together every year and work for months to produce a beautiful and amazing magical piece that we take to Burning Man. And we're also like a family here in New York City. It's rather disgusting. We all really like each other. So you will be brought into that family. Empire Fire Collective has been around since 2014 and we've gone through a lot of changes. Very briefly, what I'm going to go over with the history, which has to do with the roles that we have for Empire Fire Collective and why we run the way we do now. During the pandemic, one of our friends took over being Shin and it got a little bit messy and there was some control issues. So we decided in order to protect everybody in the community and make it fair for everyone, we would set it up where the Shin can Shin for 2 years and then pass it on to the next person. We usually have a Shin assist. Right now we do not. I was the Shin assist for the last 2 years while Heather Milner, our friend who's sad that she can't be here tonight, was our Shin. And she trained me and now I take over and next year we'll be bringing on someone so that I can pass the torch to them. If you are a member of EFC with being a performer, your responsibilities are coming to rehearsals on time and putting in the work and communicating. Communicating is really, really big for me because if you communicate, we're not gonna have problems. If people don't communicate, things get confusing and all of that. We have in our group for EFC, we have 7 groups. We have the duet, and then we'll have 6 other groups, and those groups will be led by one person. These people can choreograph in full. We also do recommend that you take tips from your group to help choreograph. This is a collaborative, but that's there to keep too many cooks in the kitchen, if that makes sense. Once you've been a lead, you can step into the role of Shin Assist, and once you've been Shin Assist, you can step into the role of Shin. Now these are all kind of like basic guidelines. There is gray area, but it's there just to make sure that people have an experience of going from being a performer all the way to burn, and so they understand how we run our group, and so that they're better prepared to lead a group and then better prepared to become Shin Assist. But let's get to some of the nitty gritty of Empire Fire Collective. So like I said, we have 7 groups. Our piece needs to be at least 15 minutes long. It can be up to 20 minutes long, but we have those 5 people that I mentioned of the Fire Council who will be watching all of these videos, and it can be anywhere from 30 to 40 something videos from different groups around the world. And so we keep on the shorter side. It's also a little easier that way. So each group is, the piece is just over 2 minutes long. Your lead will pick the music for that group, and then we will edit it all together and create one 15-minute piece. Our rehearsals are Tuesday nights. They are going to be starting this year, February 24th. Our rehearsals are always Tuesdays, and they're 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The goal is that we have 6 weeks of rehearsal for each act. So we have Act 1 and Act 2. So we'll have 4 groups in Act 1, because that's including the duet, and then 3 groups in Act 2. So halfway through, after 6 weeks, we'll start rehearsing Act 2. The idea is not to have outside rehearsals. We ask leads to come with at least like 3 or 4 8 counts prepared to get your group started with choreo, so that you're not starting like at 0 at the first rehearsal. Auditions are going to be the 17th, so 2 weeks from today. And those are going to be at Movement Research in the studio called The Bob. All we ask is 1 minute, so just 1 minute of your own personal choreo. I want to see your creativity and I want to see your dedication. And if I were to say do it again, you would be able to do it again. It's really not a lot of pressure. Like, this is actually just fun. You don't have to do like crazy tricks or anything nuts. Like, have fun with it, express yourself. If you want to do something silly. One year we had a group member do, are you thinking, yeah. We had a group member do, what's the song? I Need a Hero.
And he danced like a cat with palm torches.
He had palm torches and then ripped his shirt open at one point, and it was just super fun. So have fun with it. I mean, I'd love to see a little bit of your skills, but that's not what is really gonna blow me away. Just be creative. So 1 minute, you can go over a little bit if you want, but try not to go too long. You can duet with somebody else if you want to, and that does not mean that you will be considered with the duet unless you want to be considered for the duet. So that's up to you. But yeah, you can either do a solo or you can audition as a duet. So just LED or day props, whichever you prefer. And you can do any prop you want. You can do multiple props if you want. That's up to you.
I was going to, returning members also audition or no?
Returning members?
Yeah.
Yes, I actually have to audition.
Do you also do it? Listen.
Yeah, so everybody has to audition. I want to make this clear really quick about auditions. If you have a friend who wants to do this and they're not able to make it to auditions, reach out to me, have them contact me before so that we can possibly work something out, because we don't want people to miss out just because they're out of town or something like that. But even we had a member last year who was a veteran and didn't audition, just didn't come, and we were like, it's not fair to everybody else, you know. So if they do not audition, we can't have them join. So if you have friends who want to, yes.
Do we have to use the prop for the audition that we want to do in the piece?
You can use any prop you want. But on that note, there is going to be the general interest form that you guys are familiar with. So we have a general interest form, and it's going to ask you about the props that you own, the props that you like to spin, what's your secondary prop, what props are you interested in. It's a little long, but it's a lot of like good information in there, and it also gives us a lot of good information about who you are and what groups we can place you in with what props. And then after auditions, we will have our first rehearsal is going to be the 24th. So we're going to be in a couple different studios. I have a few of them booked already. And then once it gets warm outside, we're going to be outside at parks. We generally do McCarran Park and Fort Greene. So I'm dividing it because the location is not fair for everybody. We have people coming from all over. So that way it's unfair for everyone at some point. We do also have 3 brush-up rehearsals that we'll have after our video shoot. So our video shoot is going to be on June 12th. Video shoot, I like to explain, is our goal. Sorry, rephrasing. Video shoot is our most important thing. Burning Man is our goal. But the video shoot is our audition to show council who we are, what we can do, what we've created, and have them say, holy crap, that was amazing. Yes, you're in, and you're in one of the top 4 spots. That is going to be on fire. at our friend Amy's house, which is in Westchester. So it's about 90 minutes outside of the city. We also have like a little party afterwards. So we film until we nail it. We usually end up running it about 4 or 5 times. And then everybody freaks out. We drink and we stay up till the sun comes up. I did say the date for our video shoot, did I not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We will have a rain day, which is gonna be the Saturday after that. We do that because I know a lot of people gig and it's not really fair to ask you to do 2 weekends off in a row when that's usually when you're making your money. So the 12th and then the 13th will be our rain day.
13th.
June. Yeah. And then we will find out around 4th of July. That's when the council puts out their announcement of which groups got in, and then we will have our 3 brush up rehearsals. So our next rehearsal after our video shoot won't be until, I think it's mid-July, like 2 Tuesdays after the 4th of July, because that's usually about when they let us know. And then we'll have 3, they're kind of spread out because these are brush ups to make sure that we're staying tight, staying together. We remember this before we get the dust and we get bad brain and you forget everything. And they'll end, I think they're ending the 18th of August so that people have time to do their packing and all of that craziness of getting ready to go to the burn. We also will have a midway point video called May Day, and that's going to be in April. It's going to be April 14th. I have not decided if we're going to do that on fire or if we're going to do it LED. Last year, for the first time, we did it LED, and that was because costs for places to do it was really high. I'm going to try because on fire, of course, is better. But we did find also that the LED, it saved us money for one thing, and then it also was a lot quicker because we didn't have to regroup and then redip and all of that. The May Day shoot is only going to be for part of Act 1 because they only want to see the first 3 groups at most. They want to see the duet, they want to see about 90 seconds of that, and then they want to see part of 2 of the other groups. So they don't have to have the piece finished yet, but the Fire Council wants to see a transition. They just want to get a sense of where we are at so that they can give us feedback and let us know what they think we should work on and how we're doing so far. So we have 2 performances at Burning Man. There's talk of a third, but that's going to be up to the group. We'll talk more about that later because it is a commitment, to do 3 rehearsals or 3 performances while you're at Burning Man. We have on Wednesday night. Do you guys know what Costume Cult is?
Yeah.
No, some people do. Okay. So Costume Cult is a New York City group that does lots of fun stuff, and they have costumes. It's a generally good way to. Okay, so they have a camp at Burning Man. Oh my God!
It's some larger New York camps, right?
Yeah, it's a bigger New York camp. So they have a block party on Wednesday night at Burning Man, and we traditionally have started their block party by doing our performance to our music. So we go out there, we wow the crowd, because we're New York City, they're New York City, it's great, and then they have a party. That's Wednesday night, so we will have a rehearsal at Vulcan Camp before that, and then we will all go over to Costume Cult together. We will also have a rehearsal on Burn Night, so that's Saturday night, and then we will all walk to the Great Circle together. Communication is going to be on Facebook and WhatsApp. Facebook is our primary communication. The reason is because the platform is just really easy to use. We can have the private group. It's easy when we make posts to have communications under that post. We do ask that you respond to things, even if it's just, give it a thumbs up or a heart or something. Sometimes if I'm posting something that's important information, I'm gonna throw something in there and ask you a question, and you're gonna have to make a comment. So I'm gonna know if you didn't read it. And they're fun things, like what was the one?
What condiment would you like stuck in your belly button the least?
That one
Makes
was
me
very
gag.
specific.
What was it? Mayonnaise.
But the comments on that were really fun. WhatsApp is generally going to be used for emergency situations. So last minute rehearsal place changes or canceling. Because that, like, you know, weather, and then one year there was a shooting on the train, and so we canceled rehearsal. So things like that is what we'll use WhatsApp for. I'll use WhatsApp to communicate with you individually, because there's one of me and there's all of you. So I can set up a personal chat with each of you on there. That way you don't get lost in my text messages. You have it, I have it, we can always reach out to each other that way. Attendance policy is, and it's not, I hate calling it a policy, but like, because I don't want to be like rules. But in the group, you do need to be self-reliant, and other people are relying on you. So if you show up 30 minutes late, that does have an effect on your group, because then they have to backtrack to catch you up. That takes away time from them working on moving forward with their choreo. If you are going to be late, totally understand, life happens, it's okay. But as long as you're communicating with us, like got stuck in traffic or something like that, you know, there's two people you need to reach out to. One is me, one is the lead of your group. And just let them know what's going on and when you're gonna be there. You can group text us if you want. We'll have WhatsApp, so you could also use that. Also understand, if you're driving, please don't crash your car. Like, that's okay. You can wait and then text us and be like, I was driving, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be late, like blah, blah, blah. We have 2 absences for each act. So you get 1 pre-cleared absence and then 1 emergency absence. Again, life happens, but this is one of the things that our group put in place because we had a lot of people just showing up very late, not talking to us, and not showing up at all. So we instilled these guidelines to make it more fair for everybody. So if you have to miss more than that for Act 1, you might not be able to be in Act 2. But this is all contingent on what the situation is. It is important though, please just keep in mind the reason why we have this, I'm gonna say it again, is because when you're late and when you don't show up, it does affect the rest of your group. If you do miss a rehearsal, your lead should be sending you a video to catch you up. When I've led a group in the past, if I had a member out, I would make a video at home and share that with them so that they could catch up, so the next week we wouldn't be backtracking quite as much. So, dues. EFC does cost money, especially since we rehearse inside for the warmer months. Last year they were $50, and this year they're probably going to be the same. It's going to depend on the rehearsal spaces that I get for the last few places and how much fuel and LICO that we need to get. So they'll probably be 50. They're going to be due the 3rd rehearsal, but they might be 55. I'm going to try to keep it at 50. All of this goes towards your rehearsal space, fuel, LICO, all of that. It's also going to go towards burgers and food for video shoot night, because we have a little barbecue before we start shooting. If you have friends who want to be on our production crew list, meaning safeties, fuel techs, things of that nature, people who like help swap out props if somebody has a prop that comes apart and turns into another prop. We have the whole production crew. They will also be paying dues. It will be for them either 45 or 50. It's a $5 difference because they're not in the studio space.
So for the crew, like, is it the same commitment or?
No, actually, because like anybody who wants to do production crew, like safety or anything like that, they don't need to be at our weekly rehearsals. We have them start coming to our rehearsals to get an idea of where they're going to be placed and where the people they're going to be watching in that section, so they can see like that's a really dangerous move, or like this person, you know, get an idea of what's happening. They'll start coming towards the end of rehearsals. We'll have them come by while we're doing dry runs at the end of our rehearsal time. I'll be in communication with them before that, but they don't have quite as much of a commitment. Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
When you mean end of rehearsals, you mean like end of like towards the end of the season or end of like each rehearsal?
For when they'll be coming?
Yeah.
Towards the end of the season. Yeah, so once we have the full piece done, they'll start coming by. I think we had them come to 2 or 3 rehearsals before we did video shoot. So yeah, it was a good question. Yeah, I think we're probably gonna have 5 safety spots, I think, approximately. But yeah, they can reach out to me on the Instagram page.
How big is the production?
Well, it's 5 for the safeties, usually about that, and then we have at least 1 fuel tech, possibly 2. And then when we're at Burning Man, we have, what did they change the name to, John?
Huh?
Helms, you did it last year.
Oh, Radiohead?
Radiohead.
Radiohead.
It used to be
Brandon
Helmsman,
Dallas.
and they changed it to Radiohead. So we'll have so that's 8, we'll have 8 production crew. Yeah, and if we have enough performer to safety ratio, we might bring on one other safety to help with like any prop changes. On that note, with prop changes and fueling, when we're doing fire, you are responsible for your own prop. Your fuel tech does not dip your prop. You know how much fuel you want to dip. You know if you want to do a flash dip. You know if you want to do a 3-second dunk. You know you want to wait for the bubbles to come out. Half dip, flash dip, as Travis says. So you're responsible for fueling your own props whenever we're doing our performance. If you need help with it, you can ask, we can make that happen, but do not assume that anybody's going to help you with it or do it for you. Burning Man has their own specific safety regulations for fire. So any new members or anybody who has not spun fire before will need to take a fun safety course with our friend Amaya, Ryan's girlfriend. She's in Belgium right now. But she's done this before.
She's totally
incredibly
real.
knowledgeable. She,
Real girl.
she actually is my fire mama. She taught me how to spin fire for the first time like 10 something years ago. But she will go over all of the information that you need to be able to spin fire on playa, whether it's with EFC or not with EFC. EFC also follows these protocols the same that Burning Man does, so it's really helpful for all of us to be on the same page so that we can just do this seamlessly and fun and not have to worry if somebody's doing something with fire safety that we're not used to, or they're not used to, so it just makes it easier and more seamless for us all to like do the same thing. And Maya is absolutely wonderful, and you will have a blast doing this class, I promise. It's not really a class, it's just like, whatever. It's gonna be fun. And that date will be TBD.
One thing is, I'm pretty sure you can't bring your fuel on the transport, so how will you do that?
As far as fuel for EFC, that is one of my jobs, and we organize that actually with some of the leads of Vulcan Empire. We have some fuel there, so I will be organizing with them to find out how much we have left over from last year, how much we need, and figuring out how to get it there. But if you want your own personal fuel, yeah, you obviously can't fly with it.
Yeah.
Can't put it on the container. They also don't let you put props on the container. People do hide them, but the container gets hot. So that's kind of the same reasoning as an airplane, if that makes sense.
Sometimes you just coordinate with people who you know are going to be there early, or someone else that you know that is like coming from California or something.
Yeah, or if you have a car and you can drive a little further outside of Reno,
Yeah.
because everybody goes to like the same 2 Walmarts, they sell out like pretty fast. Burning Man this year, the dates are August 30th to September 7th. How expensive is Burning Man? If you've been, you know. For those of you who said you have not been, Burning Man can be pretty pricey. This year, the ticket prices have not officially been released yet, but it looks like it's gonna be around $675, which is why it's great to be with a group because we get a discounted ticket for performing in the conclave at Burning Man. But you also want to consider, you have, wherever you camp at Burning Man, you're gonna have dues for the camp, hotel and travel. I personally go through Reno. Some people go through San Francisco. We do have a shipping container here that will ship your stuff. Everybody gets the yellow top bins, and it's kind of fun. I got to do loading this year for the first time. Yes.
It's not like us that has it. There is a shipping container.
In
So
New
you
York.
drop your stuff off in Jersey.
Yeah, it's actually in
And they put it on a freight and get it out there.
so that you don't have to carry all your stuff.
Is all of the EFC camp together?
Good question. We don't always camp together. A lot of us do camp with Vulcan Empire. That's where I camp. We do actually recommend that you camp with Vulcan Empire, but you are not obligated to. The nice thing about doing that is that that's where our rehearsals on Playa will be, so you will be right there. You don't have to travel around and try to get there.
How much are dues approximately for the camp, the one that you said that most people camp with? Was it Vulcan?
I think it's like, what was it last year?
53, 350, depending on like how early you pay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I think 350 was the lower one. And just so
Yeah.
you guys know, this is Beta and which one? Aegis. You will hear me call him John. But Aegis and Beta and Courtney, you're not a camp leader, you know me? Yeah, you are. Maybe he's knowledgeable though.
Spiritual.
And Ryan, though they are all camp leads for Vulcan, so if you have Vulcan specific questions, they're probably going to be able to answer it a hell of a lot better than I can. So, sorry, I'm putting you guys up there. If you want, you can always pick their brains.
Yep. One thing I wanted to just bring up is the dues and things like that, they all go to stuff that the camp would provide for you. So like access to a shower, for example.
Yeah, we have really decent infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Camp dues are worth it compared to.
Yeah, access
Other
to a
camps.
shower, a kitchen, things like that. Whereas other camps, you know, you could spend $800 and
Have nothing.
the promise of Wi-Fi that doesn't actually exist and stuff. So
Vulcan.
The Vulcan has the.
Yeah, they have a lot. Like, I think that they're one of the least
And
expensive camps.
there's a
but
Love
also-
Cafe too.
Huh?
yeah,
Let's not forget the Love Cafe.
yeah.
Oh my god. They have a lot to offer. Because you get the shower. Hopefully Lula will be back.
We'll see. But there is a kitchen. There's access to like
Yeah,
the freezer.
they
and
do
stuff
have a
like that.
kitchen with propane tanks. You know, you do have to do certain move shifts. For those of you who have not been to Burning Man, move is matter out of place. It is a leave no trace. So anything that's not supposed to be on the ground. So you have like a move shift. You'll have like another shift. How many shifts? You have like 2 shifts, right?
Yeah, but I would say in terms of like camps, our participation is really low.
Yeah,
compared to
yeah.
other
Yeah,
camps.
yeah,
The
we don't.
participation is really, really low, which is great.
Is Vulcan specific to fire spinning, or is it also a separate?
It is a fire spinning camp.
So usually there's classes and we do like these first fire classes. Fire
Yeah, well, we have it when like safeties and whatnot, like a bunch of people who don't spit either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you know.
generally people who are into movement arts.
If you
Yeah.
do stay with Vulcan, I will say, as a camper there, I've never camped anywhere else because why would I? For me personally, there's just no other place to go. But they have a Monday night spin jam. So if you camp with them, we have a camp meeting.
It's so much more easier to just keep track of what's going on when you're in it.
Yep.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
No,
Compared to have to
exactly.
remember it when you're like in another camp and.
Yeah, and be like,
Just makes sense.
where do I go?
Yeah,
How do
just
I
makes
get
sense to be
there?
surrounded
You're just
by-
there. And then when I yell EFC,
Yeah.
you guys are just like, we're here. You know?
Yeah. And I guess-
and that makes me happy. But they also have a Monday night spin jam after our meeting, and it's really fun.
Yep.
It's really, really fun. And we have the Love Cafe, which is John and Beta's trailer, and they will give you
That's right.
coffee and love. So it's a weird, confusing story because Vulcan and EFC are related, but they're like distant cousins. One kind of grew out of the other, but we're not the same entity as far as like how, like functioning and everything. And so like, they're a camp, we're a
Conclave, yeah.
fire group.
So-
Also, by the way, you can't call it a conclave because conclave is the spinning around when we're around the man, the whole thing together is conclave. So council is always like, you're not an individual conclave, we're just a fire group. But then when we're there, we're a conclave because we're with everybody else. Costumes and the cost of costumes. So if you've been with EFC before, you probably already have a costume or several. We've been doing for the past few years white with red accents, and it's kind of become like our vibe. So we're probably gonna keep it the same. It looks really, really sick on camera. So it's great for like photos. If you've looked through our Instagram page, you've seen the pictures and it's just like, bam! So we'll probably stay the same with that. Costumes, it depends on what you want to do. They have to be fire safe. You have to have, you know, the general 90% organic fiber, usually cotton. And then any sort of red accent. So when I say accent, your costume is white, your clothing is white. Your accents are like a harness, or like I think Amaya had the red flowers a couple of years ago. I have a red belt, leather belt, and a red leather harness. Frank and Sarah, friends of ours that run Rope Dart, they actually make some really cool red harnesses. So that could be an option if you want to buy one of them. I think you got one last year. I have one too somewhere. But yeah, so the cost of that, you can do it really cheap. Like there are places to find cheap cotton, like, you know, you can get like a leotard and do some slit weaving to it or something if you want, or just wear it as a leotard. You can get like cheaper accents and stuff on Amazon. Just be careful what you buy for the accents, but your costume does have to be fire safe. But they can be a little bit pricey if you want to go through a shop on Etsy. We do have some recommendations. Everybody here has their favorite Etsy shops. I love Slit Weave and another shop that I can't pronounce the name, it begins with an A. But we can share that stuff in the Facebook group so that you guys have access to it. Those you need to have your costume by the end of Act 1. That's just to make sure, because you never know what's gonna happen, and I've had it happen. You get a costume and it doesn't fit you, or something broke on it and you need to return it and shipping took a long time, you know, all of those factors. So we're just gonna try and make sure that we all have them by the end of Act 1 so that we have some leeway if anything happens. We don't wear the costumes for May Day. We'll probably just wear black for May Day, but you'll need them by the end of Act 1 to be sure. Most people come in on Sunday or Monday. By Wednesday, you have to go to Convergence and you have to sign in. So you have to go up and say what your name is, what group you're with, what your name is, and they will sign you in. If you don't, you also will get on the ugly list and you won't be welcome to perform next year with Burning Man. But you won't be able to do the thing that you've been doing.
Yep.
So very, very important by Wednesday, and that will be drilled into your brain. Your Great Circle Access Pass, GCAP for short, I am responsible for picking those up from council, and I will be passing those out to you on burn night at our rehearsal. If you do not have that, you do not get in. They do not care. If you lose it, you will not get in. They don't want it in a bag, it has to be on your person. So I will be giving you that. If you do not have it, you do not get into the Great Circle. You do not get to perform what you've been working on.
Yep.
Which is really sad. So very important thing.
You said the prop pickup was, you pick that up when? Where?
So I pick it up from the council. I have several meetings that I have to go to while I'm there, and I get the bag and I hold it for dear life, and I bring it back to camp, and on at our rehearsal on burn night, that's when I will pass them out to you, and you will strap them to your body with
So
every
you don't have time
ounce
to
of
use
fiber you have.
Yeah.
Do we have to know if we're going to Burning Man or not?
That's a great question. So that does happen. They will not be positive if they're going to be able to do it or anything, but they're interested. I will tell you that 98% of the time, those people that are unsure, once they join EFC, they have so much fun that they do go. It kind of makes the decision for them. I'm asking that if you're unsure, you are welcome to still join us, start the process with us, but you need to know by May Day. The reason is because once we've created a piece with a group, it's a lot of work sometimes, most of the time, if somebody's leaving that group to like rejigger everything.
May Day was June.
No, that's me.
April 14th, yeah. I do have one other thing. Does anybody here have any special skills? Like, can you do a split? Can you do any acro stuff? Or do you have like a really cool, crazy, interesting prop that's unusual?
I'm dancer, I do a lot of things, and aerialist.
What aerial stuff do you do?
They're hammock straps, a little bit of everything.
Oh my God, I saw straps for the first time over the summer when I was at a gig.
I'm not this style straps, I'm baby straps.
Okay.
Because they're strong.
But they're cool. They're cool. Okay, so you can do like a kick, you can do a split. Amazing, we're gonna use that. Okay.
Also,
You do splits? Oh my God, I love it when we have so many people that can do
Yeah,
splits. So Ryan can pick people up.
Right?
That's actually, he actually puts that on his form every year. He's really good at it. So we got splits and we got Ryan picking people up. Can we pick up 2 of these girls?
Like, we can try.
All right, I got plans. Thank you all for coming. I'm really excited to see your auditions on the 17th and see what you come up with. Feel free to reach out between now and then if you have any questions about that. Yeah, so I think that's it. Okay, bye.